Welcome back. Today we are going to get ourselves in the middle of one of the most important part of the games, is our chipping. Everything around the green is very important. If as many greens as we'd like to hit, we're not going to hit every single green, but we can still make 18 pars if we're chipping well.
Right.
So I'm going to go through the fundamentals of chipping. Hopefully you guys get something to take away from it personally and as a group. First of all, we've got two types of chips. A lot of times you've got what we see is you're chipping 5-10 yards off the green because you missed the green, but there's not much trouble. So all you want to do, you're wanting to get it as close to the hole as you can. A little tap in, we'll move on to the next hole. That's obviously what we call it an up and down. One chip and one putt. So the objective is to get it as close as we can. Two types of chips. One that flies close to the hole and rolls out a short amount of time. We call that a pitch shot. The other one is a chip, which is we're trying to get it on the ground as fast as we can and let it run out to the rest of the hole. So if we're thinking thirds, a chip runs two-thirds and then rolls out a third. If we talk about a pitch flies in the air two-thirds and then has that last third to get next to the hole. So difference between those two is going to be the type of club you do, that you use. So I use, when I'm chipping nearby, not much green to work with, I'm using a 56, maybe even a 60-degree wedge. When I've got a lot of green to work with and I want to get it on the ground quick, I'm going to use maybe a pitching wedge. And I'm just going to bump it onto the green and let it run like a putt. So I've asked you guys to bring two different clubs that go inside with both of those, and we'll split up. Real quick, Mr. Stewart, what do you use when you're chipping, both close and further away?
A pitching wedge.
Pitching wedge for all of it. So what we'll see later, we might use him as a demonstration of where he might change where he puts the ball on his feet and to use the same club. Or how big of a swing does he take? Mr. Gary, what do you use?
Pitching wedge and a 56.
Okay, that's pretty standard. Pitching wedge, getting it on the ground quick. You don't have to make a big swing. Sand wedge might be a little more swing, but we're going to get that ball in the air a little bit quicker. Mr. Glassmeyer? Same thing. Pretty standard.
Same.
I'm thinking you're not standard.
I'm thinking you're right.
All right, so when we do that, real quick, when we are chipping, we want to think about where we're positioning the ball so that it makes it the easiest way to make contact. When I'm making a chip, I like to put the ball kind of, right in the middle, but what I do is I favor my left side. I favor towards the hole, so I lean to my left leg for a right-handed golfer. I use that club. I want to use the bounce of that club. Your 56 might have 10, 14 degrees of bounce. We want to use that. We don't want to cut it off and get it too far down in the ground where we dive it right into the ground. So we get it right in the middle. A lot of times, Mr. Stewart, do you keep your hands forward?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it.
Well, that's even better when you don't have to think about it. But typically you want to lean to your front side. You want to also keep your hands, favor your hands there. And then the most important thing of all is to keep completely quiet. Just like we talk about on the full swing where we want to keep our lower body quiet, we want to keep our body completely still and let our arms just rock through the ball. And so then whether we're taking the club here or whether we're taking the club here, this part of my body doesn't move. And so then I come back down and it's a nice little brush to the ground. So that's pretty much a general chipping stance. When you're pitching, when you're trying to get that ball lower to the ground quicker, you might move the ball more towards the back because we're not trying to get the ball in the air. So we're trying to hit it first, get it low, just like if you're punching from underneath a tree. We're not trying to get the ball in the air, we're trying to keep it low. So we move it back in our stance versus kind of in the middle.